making sure children are healthy, safe, loved, ready to learn, succeeding in school and in life. This is Our Children, a program brought to you by the Children's Trust.
Good morning. I'm Imran Ali, Interim President and CEO of the Children's Trust.
And I'm Ileana Varela with the Herbert Wertheim College of Medicine at FIU. And together we welcome you to Our Children. You know, it's a busy time in South Florida. The Miami Book Fair is coming up and the holiday season is upon us. But it's also National Adoption Month. So we want to take the time to tell you about children in our own community who need permanent, loving homes.
We're talking about children in foster care. Terrific kids who ended up in the child welfare system through no fault of their own. And here today with much more on this subject is Jackie Gonzalez, CEO of our Kids of Miami-Dade and Monroe counties.
So Jackie, thank you for being with us. It's great to have you. Why don't we
having
start
me.
out, Jackie, by demystifying these children in foster care. So tell us who they are and why is it so important that they be adopted before they turn 18?
Ileana, these are children just like our children. They're wonderful children. The only thing that has happened to them is that they've had the misfortune of being born into a family that perhaps has abused, abandoned, or neglected them. But they're wonderful children that will fill your life with lots of joy. The daunting reality is that if these children are not adopted before they turn 18, they may face a life of homelessness and perhaps even worse. So it's critically important that these children can be adopted before they turn 18. And there are lots of different resources available in our community that can help these folks that adopt the children. But it's just very important, and I encourage everyone to meet these children and get to know them, because I promise you that you will fall in love with them.
Tell us about the adoption process. What does it take to adopt a child in foster care, and what is your agency's role in it?
Typically, the adoption process involves several things. The first step is expressing the interest. And some folks like to first become foster parents and do that for a while and then transition gradually into adoption. Other folks decide that they don't want to foster, that they want to do an adoption from the outset. In either case, typically there is a training that's involved. It's about 10 weeks long. It's called the Pride Training. As part of that training, staff from the various agencies that actually perform the adoptions would go to the home, conduct a home study of the home, background screens of the folks that live in the home, and assess how well suited that home is for the child or children that they're seeking to adopt. Once that process is complete, it goes very quickly and easily from there.
And when you say quickly and easily, how much are we talking about? How much time are we talking about?
It can be as little as 3 months. It could take as long as 6 to 8 months. A lot of it depends actually on the folks who are adopting, because sometimes they want to go very slowly because they're getting used to the process, and we like to have as many visits and interactions as possible with the children and the prospective adoptive parents before the actual finalization takes place. So a lot of it is driven by the adoptive parents and what their priorities are and their wishes.
You know, I've actually heard this from people. When you say foster care, a lot of people think in their minds temporary, and some people are frankly are afraid because they're afraid of falling in love with these children and afraid that somewhere along the line a biological parent can come in later on once they adopt these children and actually taking them away, go to court and taking them away. So how can you reassure these people that that's not going to happen once they adopt these children?
That would be very unlikely. By the time a child is adopted, the legal process is played out. And that means that the biological parents' parental rights have been terminated. And that the appellate process, any possible appeals that could have been filed with regard to that judgment, that time period has already lapsed. So there's no legal remedy available to biological parents once that appeal process window has passed. So by the time the child is available for adoption, the danger of that happening is already behind them. So that is highly unlikely.
Because I know that, I mean, I've actually had people tell me that.
Well, that can happen in the fostering process. And we're very clear with foster parents that you're fostering, and it is temporary by definition.
But not in the adoption process.
But in the adoption process, once a child is freed for adoption, all of the legal avenues available to biological parents to challenge the final judgment of adoption have lapsed.
So National Adoption Day is coming up.
Yes.
Tell us when that is and what is our kids' role in celebrating that day.
We're very excited. National Adoption Day is November 20th at the Miami Children's Museum at 9 in the morning. We are finalizing approximately 68 adoptions that morning. The judges from the juvenile courts of Miami attend. We create mock courtrooms throughout the museum. It's a wonderful venue for the children because, of course, it's all about the children. And there are many activities and exhibits there that the children are playing and interacting with as the adoptions are happening simultaneously. All of the agencies that provide case management services are the ones that have actually helped to make this possible. They've facilitated the adoptions, and our role is to help them in all of the different things that have to happen in order for that finalization to take place. And the Children's Trust underwrites that event, and it's just a magnificent event. It's really the one time a year that we all look forward to, those of us who do this for a living, because you get to see the fruits of your labor and you remember why you do this work.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about is the Miami Heart Gallery, because this is also one of the really exciting things that you do, which is something, again, that the Children's Trust and our kids work together on very closely. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this is an online photo exhibit of the kids in foster care who are up for adoption. It's really something else to experience this. I've actually been there while it's being done, and it's absolutely amazing. And we're going to show you a video now of children being pampered and prepared for their close-ups. Actually, it takes a small army of volunteers, from hairdressers and makeup artists to photographers and videographers, all involved in making this project a success. And Jackie, I've seen this over the years. This has truly become an incredible tool, a matchmaking tool to match these kids with prospective parents, hasn't it?
It has, and it's changed the whole face of the process, because I remember before there was a heart gallery, and the process was very different.
How many years now?
It's been about 10 years since we started the heart gallery, if I'm not mistaken. Prior to the heart gallery, there were very little opportunities for prospective adoptive parents to get to know much about the child or children they were adopting. The heart gallery enables them to go online, to see photographs of the kids, to read lots of information about the children, to hear interviews that were conducted with the children. So it gives them a good sense, because our primary concern is to make sure that before we introduce any children to a prospective adoptive parent, that we have a pretty compelling belief that it's going to be a good fit. Because if not, we don't even want to open that door. So the Heart Gallery is a tool that facilitates that for us. And it's an amazing thing. And by the way, it doesn't just help us with securing adoptive parents. Oftentimes, folks decide at the last minute that they don't want to adopt, but they're willing to foster or to become volunteers or mentor our children. And it all starts through that vehicle of the Heart Gallery.
It's absolutely amazing. I want to give you one last word on this topic, because I know that you work with the Department of Children and Families for many years, and you know firsthand what these children go through. Your final thoughts on this?
Well, it's always a challenge to handle children in the child welfare system, but I think where we could help as a community is to help to recruit foster parents and adoptive parents. So I think as a community we need to support not only the children you see in the Heart Gallery, but also additional children that are in the foster care system. I think this is a great way of showing our support for these children who have been abused and neglected.
Jackie, thank you. Thank you very much. I want to give you a website that you can turn to for more information. It is miamiheartgallery.org. Remember, National Adoption Month is here, and there is no time like the present to save a child's life and change your own for the better. We're going to take a short break and come back with news about Children's Alley and the biggest and best book fair in the country. It's all right here, so don't go away.